Hey everyone, thanks for taking time out of your day to join our customer webinar today. If I haven't had the opportunity to meet with you yet, my name's Gabe. I'm one of the co-founders here at Quin, and we're excited to bring some great use cases to today's session, which is all about a question that we get asked a ton by all of you, which is what are other Quinn users using their Quinn Assistant for? So we've set this up entirely for this. We're bringing three powerful use cases for all of you guys to consider that are going to be really easy to set up. And then, of course, we have time today to answer questions and time afterwards to dig into that. But without further ado, let's jump in a little bit. What we'll cover today, and some of these use cases are the first is our scheduler. So this is an existing workflow that we have in place, but we've added a feature here to support surge meetings, and we'll get into some details around that. The second powerful workflow that we'll get into here is our personal event follow-up, which is all about remembering the details and following up at the right time to build rapport, which ultimately makes clients happy and drives referrals. And the third is helping with those pesky form fills. So whether you're using Charles Schwab, Fidelity, any of these different custodians, Quinn can help automate the form filling and creation of these different documents that we'll walk you through here today. As always, love to hear your guys' questions throughout this. So we've got about 20 minutes of content. We'll have about 10 minutes of Q&A. You can go ahead and throw those in the Q&A section. Brina, one of our co-founders here, just got back from maternity leave, so we're so happy to have her back with a healthy, happy baby. Ruby over here, she's waiting there in the Q&A section. So if you have something come up, throw those in there. We can get quick answers, and then we can talk about those at the end as well. But let's jump in. So really, if you ask me where's the best place for an advisor to start, it's actually not with the three workflows that we're going to talk about today. It really points back to our core workflows. So if you are just getting started or you haven't fully maximized our 7 core workflows, let's get those dialed in for you first. Add in our note taker, our scheduler, which we'll get into today, meeting reminders, email management, whether it's replies, triage, follow-ups, or daily brief. And the big juice of this is let's dial this in with your preferences so it's working beautifully for you. So that's where we definitely want to start. That's going to get you to 5 to 10 hours a week savings, especially with us helping you along there. From there, our top 3 use cases, like we talked about for a lot of advisors, are these 3 here. So I'll walk you through about how we can help you handle surge meetings. This is going to be literally 2 buttons to click. So if those of you that are doing these, this is going to be a nice feature you can turn on today. Our second is the personal event follow-up. You're in the relationship business just like us, helping to remember these details at scale, following at the right moment can drive rapport and trust, which is the name of the game. And Quinn can do this for you effortlessly. This is built in the library, so it's going to be a single click to turn these on, or this one on. And lastly, custodial form automation, or really document generation in general. This is something that's will take a little bit of setup. I'll walk you through it here today, but it's going to either save you a bunch of headaches or your staff because it takes a lot of time to fill these things out repetitively with that same data. So first off, we'll jump into surge meetings here. So a lot of advisors are setting up these quarterly or semi-annual meetings with their clients. We kept hearing this from you, so we built this feature. So our existing scheduler workflow is going to allow someone to click a link and schedule time with you really over the course of several months. But it's not set up in the future for, let's say, surge meetings, which typically are around a 2-week time period. With this, you can set this up for future dates, send these links out, and Quinn can do it for you. And folks are only scheduling in that time frame, and it's not affecting your other links that you have there as well. So I'm going to walk you through this here in a second. But before I do, there's a couple new features here I want to show you in the scheduler as well that a lot of advisors love. It's the ability to schedule joint meetings and round robin meetings. So joint meetings, if you ever have a meeting where you'd like to have multiple colleagues join that meeting, you can connect multiple calendars with a joint meeting. That link that goes out to a client they can grab an available time, but it's only showing times to them that all of you are available. And once they schedule, it will schedule on all of your calendars. So if you need to add one person or multiple, this is going to be a nice feature for you. And our second round robin, this is more for high volume intake calls where you're trying to spread these across maybe some junior advisors or staff. This will, if you connect, let's say 3 people to this event, it will schedule the first meeting with advisor 1, the next one with advisor 2, and the next one with advisor 3, and keep going round robin style there. So that is available. So let's jump in. I'll show you how these are set up, and then we'll go into our second use case. To set up these different scheduling workflows, you'll come into Quin, and you're going to come into our workflows section, and then come into our scheduler. Within the scheduler here, you have your unique booking link, but then you can set up unlimited different customized meeting types that are different length and duration, availability, etc. If you have a meeting type that you want to set up for your surge meetings, you're simply going to come in here and edit this. Scroll back up. You'll see some things that you have already set up. Your calendar's connected, the duration of the meeting, where this location is going to take place. But if we keep scrolling down here, we'll come to our schedule availability. And I have this turned on, but standardly, this is when someone can schedule time in your calendar. No sooner than 4 hours, but no later than 3 months is what this is currently set up as. But if you want to set this up for a custom date range for surge meetings in the future, maybe in the fall, let's say, you choose that button, and you're going to come in here and just select the date range that you want times to be available. So maybe October 5th to, let's say, October 19th, just a nice 2-week time period. You're going to click save. And now that link, when someone goes to schedule, there's going to be no available times that are available in September. Actually, times are only going to be available in that 2-week window. So now when you're scheduling, Quin's sending those emails out, folks will only schedule in that time frame. The other 2 meeting types here in the scheduler that we talked about, joint meeting and round robin, easy, just as easy to schedule. You can come in here, again, edit a specific meeting type, and then in the calendar section that's only connected to your calendar, you're going to click the toggle here for include other teams' calendars. Any other users on your Quin account are going to be available here that already have their calendars connected, so you just select which ones. And then you're going to choose if you want this to be a joint meeting, meaning they're both going to need to join the meeting, you and this other person, or a round robin with you and those other folks. And then simply click save, and the behavior of that from a client experience will take place according to your selections there. So really easy to set up, but really powerful here to save time. So that's those. Let's jump into our next use case that's popular. Our personal event follow-up. So like I mentioned, we're in the relationship business. Remembering details are critically important, especially the personal details. And then following up shows that we were actively listening and deepens that connection and rapport and ultimately trust that allows someone to feel connected to you, to drive more referrals or just stay with you as a client. So what Quin does here is it's monitoring your notes that you're taking on calls, your emails, as well as information that you're inputting in your CRM. And it's looking for keywords around vacations and trips, milestones, family events, home projects, personal goals. And when it finds those, it is trying to figure out context and time range, and then scheduling a follow-up task according to some things that we built for you, so that in the future, when Sarah, in this example, comes back from her trip from Italy, Quin will automatically draft an email, place it in your draft folder for you to review and send out. So you're hitting a connection there and a communication without missing that. So that's kind of what this slide walks you through. You really don't have to do anything with this turned on. Quin is going to detect the personal event, extract the details, calculate the timing. Typically, we're scheduling a reminder touch base a week or 2 after the event. It's creating that scheduled task there in your CRM or other tools, and then it's going to automatically draft the communication. As far as the timing here, as I mentioned, it's typically scheduling a reminder to follow up on a vacation or trip 1 to 2 weeks afterwards, a marathon or exam 2 to 3 days after the event, a family event like a graduation or wedding, maybe a week as well, and then an ongoing project that might take a long time, just 3 to 4 weeks after they told you they're working on something. Could be like a house project or maybe a contest of some sort. So let's take a look at that and how that works. Now, the good thing is this is a click of a button for you guys to turn on, so it's not going to be a heavy lift. What you'll want to do is, this is one of the many workflows that are going to be in your Discover More section. So you'll log into Quin, come to Discover More. All of these different workflows are available to you. They're built by advisors for advisors. You can click this plus button and it's going to turn this on. And what it's going to look like is this. So you'll click that button. It'll turn this on. It's got a title here. This is showing the automation, so it's going to automatically run. Shows you what causes it to run. It's triggered by Quin. And the trigger is explained here, where Quin's identifying relevant personal events and accomplishments from meeting transcripts, notes, CRM updates, and then taking care of what I showed you there in the slide deck. And then all the instructions are written here as well, as far as how Quin is doing this, where it's checking for data, even has templates. This is all built in here. So if there's if there's something that you want to change, this is totally editable. If you want to add something, you can do that, but out of the box, it'll work really nicely for you. And then what I've done over here is just ran a little test so you guys can see this. I just had Quin run a mock example, pretending I just met with Tony Stark. He told me that he and his wife Pepper are going to Tokyo September 1st through the 14th to run the Tokyo Marathon and climb Mount Fuji, which are 2 of their bucket list items. So just telling Quin that, or if Quin would have processed that through notes, it would have done these actions here. It would have identified the information and the dates. It would have created a CRM note and added it to your CRM tied to your household record. And then it would have scheduled a task, which is 1 week after they get back from their trip. And then ultimately, that's going to be drafted. You don't have to tell Quin. It will notify you, hey, review this email that I've drafted for you. So all of this can help you to scale your relationships there. And then underneath the hood here, if we look into a CRM wealth box, on this record, you can see that we created a note here that identified the information here about their trip. And then we also created a task here to send an email on September 21st. All this is automation that runs behind the scenes. So hopefully this will be something you can turn on here after today's webinar. All right, let's take a look at our third use case here. Keep moving. One of the most painful, I think, things that advisory teams have to do on a regular basis is fill out the pesky paperwork. Whether you're using Charles Schwab or Fidelity or any of the other custodians, Quin can automatically take the data that sits in your systems, merge it into these forms for you, and even pass this over to DocuSign for you to review, fill in any missing information because Quin's not going to make up data, and then you can send out for a signature. Saves a ton of time for teams here. Quin can pull data from really any connected source here. So CRM, email, calendar, document storage like Google Drive or Box or other connected systems. It will always check all those places and review documents. It will then map the data to the correct fillable fields and then send this over to DocuSign for review. So really easy workflow. We'll jump over here and I'll show you how this works. So there's many forms that looks like this. These are all things that Quin can take care of. You're simply going to upload this to Quin, this template, as a fillable PDF. You'll come into the template section. You're going to click Add Template. This is a fillable PDF, so you'll choose Upload Fillable PDF. And then you're going to, this one's called Third Party Transfer here. Just choose that from your computer. and then you're going to publish, or I'll just save this one as a draft here. Give this a second. And then what Quin's going to do here below is it's going to pull in all of your form fields here below. Now, Quin's very smart. It's going to read these field types, as you can see, and it's going to be able to map data here. Now, I always tell people, run it out of the box, see how it works. If it's getting any information incorrect, you can go through here and take a look at these fields, and you can then just add a guideline here, which is just an instruction. Hey, this is where this information is. Go look for it here. And then ultimately, you'll get that dialed in from there. And our team's here to help you on that. And then the template guidelines section here, if you want Quin to search particular places or want Quin to automatically send this over to DocuSign in draft mode, you would just add language here in place, just like you're teaching a human assistant. And then we've got our optimize button down here where we can help redraft that for you. So what this looks like when it's completed, I changed the name of this to just move assets from my Schwab brokerage account. I've added in some data here just saying, hey, check for data in all my connected places, including Google Drive, meeting transcripts, CRM, and send this over to DocuSign in draft mode. This will enable me to now ask Quin to draft this document for me. Or if I'm simply in a meeting and I'm talking about generating this document, Quin will process the transcript and then do it from there and place it in draft mode. So I simply came in here and said, hey, generate this my Schwab brokerage account form for Raul Patel for $50,000 over to Priya's account. That information lives in my systems. Quin went ahead and found it, generated the document, and then sent this over to DocuSign in draft mode. So what this document will look like, and I'll pull it up in DocuSign too so you guys can see this, but we'll merge in that data in the correct spots where we have that data. We can then check boxes based off of rules that you guys have in place or the data that's coming from there as well. So we can handle the complexities and then ultimately invite someone to sign down here. Probably got logged out, but it'll just take me a second. And we'll take a look at this experience here in DocuSign as well. All right, so when you're in DocuSign, what you'll do is you'll come to the agreements section. You're just going to come into draft mode, and then you're going to see this document that we placed here for your review. You'll simply hit continue, and you'll see that Quin has brought in the signing name, Raul Patel, email, as well as already given us a subject and a message. You're going to click next, and then you're going to see your document here with the data merged in. Now, all of these are going to still be editable fields. So if something, heaven forbid, would be incorrect here, you can make edits. And then if there's data that's missing, you'll obviously need to get this information before you want to send this out. So you'll simply review this. Looks great. Inviting Raul to sign. Today's date looks good. And then you're going to hit send from there. So very easy way to get these documents generated. And you can then text message Quin, use voice to dictate to Quin through a voice memo, or even email Quin, and Quin can then do all of this automatically for you. So I know that was a lot, but hopefully that was helpful for you guys, but would love to maybe pause here and see if anybody has any questions.
Oh, I'm seeing some more come in. I wanted to just recap a couple of the ones that came up throughout the webinar, because I think these are probably some common ones that folks have. So Stacy King asked, what can Quin do for advisors that ChatGPT or Claude can't do? Which is a great question and kind of tease us up. We are having a webinar in a couple of weeks titled Quin versus the AI Everyone Already Has. So you'll definitely have a chance to get a little bit deeper on that question, but just at a high level, I mean, a lot of these AI tools really do offer similar functionality. However, I would say the easiest way to think about Quin versus Claude or ChatGPT or any other sort of general AI tool that you're using is that Quinn understands the context across your systems and is really custom built for advisors and professionals. So we aren't, building a product for the general public. This really is designed to function as a real admin assistant who has, business knowledge and understanding of those things. And we do integrate with those tools as well. So any user that I see who is taking advantage of both sort of categories of tools, what they typically do is they'll use Claude or ChatGPT to maybe like think through a strategy or think through, some advice or just things that they need to kind of go back and forth on and chat. And then they'll use Quinn more for the operational data movement and, email drafting, organizing things like a true admin would. So the functions are, similar in the back end. You can use Quinn to go back and forth for strategy, but that's just typically how I've seen it. So we'll go a little bit more into detail in that webinar in a couple weeks. So be sure to sign up for that one if you have more questions. And then we had a couple of questions about the scheduler, how it relates to Calendly, what kind of features are in there. And as Gabe had mentioned, we have a fairly new feature, the joint meeting and round robin feature, which is great. Was very happy to see that live when I came back because that's something that we use on our team as well. If you have different folks that need that. So as it compares to Calendly, we're getting closer and closer, I would say, to feature parity. There are obviously quite a lot of different bells and whistles within Calendly that allow you to customize different meetings, branding, things like that. But for most users, I would say we have feature parity. You can ask intake questions, you can create custom meeting links, as well as the features that were mentioned today. If there are things that you didn't hear today that were mentioned, I would just poke around and take a look at the scheduling or the scheduler workflow and just see what's in there. And as always, you can actually ask Quinn. You can ask Quinn directly, hey, can you do this? And it'll point you in the right direction. That's probably the biggest sort of missed opportunity with our users is you can ask Quinn. Quinn is self-aware, so it knows what it can and cannot do. So if you have questions about that. But if you're ever having trouble, you can just ask us as well. And
Yeah,
then,
I
oh,
jump in
go
there
ahead,
too,
Gabe.
Verena.
Yeah,
Just
sure.
build on that for folks. If you're really love your Calendly tool, your OneSub tool, or other tool you're using for scheduling, the great thing with Quinn is it can utilize those links. So if you haven't already taken advantage of this could be a simple guideline where you give your Quinn assistant the links that for scheduling, and then it can use those in communications when scheduling. So you don't need to switch. If you love it, you have it all built, by all means, Quinn's an assistant. It can work with other tools as well. But if you want to save on your subscription fees and not have an additional one there, the scheduler can take care of most of those needs, especially since we've added our joint and round robining features. Those were two that were missing.
Cool. Great. Thank you. Yeah, we have lots of integrations that have launched recently, lots of tools that, yeah, we're getting compared to, but we actually work with. So that's great. So the next question, we've got quite a few here. I want to try to get through in the last 5 minutes. Can you get Quinn credit solely for this DocuSign Forms feature? The credits are up to you on how you use it. And that is another thing that's really great about Quinn is you're not being forced to use certain features. If you want to turn certain parts off and you want to just use it for the DocuSign and forms, you're welcome to do that. So yeah, it's really, really up to you how you'd like to use that. The next one is asking about a replay available. Lance, yes, we definitely will email anyone who has joined or registered a link to the replay. So you're welcome to rewatch it and share it with your team if they have additional questions or are just curious about it. So same goes for any future ones. If you want to go ahead and register, say for the AI comparison one that I mentioned in a couple weeks, but you can't attend live, we'll just be sure to send that to you afterwards. So Scott asked, and maybe I'll probably pass this one to you, Gabe. Scott asks, he says, I love seeing this demo on completing forms. Is there any concerns from a PPI standpoint? in regards to fetching that data from the CRM or precise FP to complete paperwork. Always been told that we shouldn't put PPI like social security number through an LLM.
Yeah, great question, Scott, and probably one of the most important around data security. So everything that Quin does here is done in a SOC 2 Type 2 manner. So it's going to meet the top level standards here for your compliance team around how we handle data. None of the data that we pull in is being used to train any models. It's all being done encapsulated here within our technology. And we're really retaining minimal information here within Quin. We're keeping it in your sources of truth, whether that's CRM, planning tool, etc. there. So pulling that in, it's going to be encrypted. It's not being fed into a model to train in any form or fashion. It's safe. And then we're merging it into your document in a safe and secure manner that, again, matches that SOC 2 Type 2 third-party certified manner there. So we have all of our documentation in place too. So if your compliance team wants to see how get into the technical details around that, we can definitely supply those documents to anybody who'd want to go a little deeper on that.
Cool. And then we have two more here. I'll I'll read them out and see if you can help with me with these as well. So it says
Okay.
after client meetings, we will often send out a collection of documents. Do these need to be saved as templates in Quinn, or can it access the most up-to-date files in our boxed storage?
Yeah, great question. So the follow-up there, assuming there's not data needing to be merged, these are just flat files that want to be saved out. I think a great use case for that would be the pulling these from your document storage of choice, whether that's Box, Dropbox, or Google Drive. We connect with those and a few others. So part of that post-meeting workflow could be including these certain documents as attachments there.
Cool. And then the last one here, when completing the Schwab forms, is it automatically sent to Schwab after signatures are complete, as it is now when completing through Schwab?
Yeah, so it's not. So we're able to handle the paperwork from a PDF standpoint, which then sends it out can be sent out through DocuSign for e-signature, but we don't directly integrate with Schwab yet to where we can then submit those forms on behalf of the advisor. Um, we are working with Schwab to build an integration here, hopefully here in the near future. So at some point, I hope to be able to announce that we can do that for you. But as of today, we can't. We'll do everything else, merge the document, help to facilitate the signing of that through DocuSign, but then you will need to manually submit that through Schwab.
Gotcha. Okay. And then we've got two more. And then any other questions, if you have any, you can definitely email us at help@heyquin.io. We'd be happy to help you, but I'll try to squeeze in these last two. This one's quick. Will you be at LPL Focus next week in San Diego? I wish. I wish we could go. Sounds amazing. Do we have any events coming up? I don't think we do as far as attending any events.
In person, we've got a few we're talking through, but nothing on the calendar yet.
Yeah. Okay. We'll be sure to let you guys know through the newsletter and if we're going to be, in person anywhere. But a San Diego trip sounds really nice.
Yes.
Sydney, I hope you enjoy it. And then Scott had one last question. Can Quinn help with keeping folders and files organized in Google Drive? It's something that I've thought about doing with Claude.
Absolutely. Great use case. Yeah, so you'll kind of set up the structure within Google Drive. Typically, it's going to be a household or client folder, and then Quinn can facilitate kind of placing those into the correct folders and then retrieving that information down the road when you're looking for an answer, prepping for a meeting, or trying to create one of these custodial forms because it can pull data from those as well.
Cool. That's all of the questions that we had for today. And we are right at the time.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining today. As Marina said, this will be sent out recording-wise here, hopefully today or tomorrow. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to our team here um, at help@heyquin.io. And then our next customer webinar will be here in 2 weeks on August 19th to go a little bit deeper into how Quinn compares with different AI that you might be using in other places. So until then, have a great rest of your day.
Bye, everyone.